Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Dudley, and I am the Comic Hero. And I hope y'all are continuing to stay safe out there. A lot of states here in America are in phase one of the reopenings. And you know, it's all great, but the pandemic is continuing. I mean, there's still folks who are testing positive for COVID-19. There's still folks who are dying from COVID-19. So we just have to be very mindful of that. If you're not comfortable with going out, stay at home. No one's going to fault you. And if they do, you let me know and I'll handle it. And if you do choose to go out, wear a mask. Keep yourself 6 feet away from people if all possible. Because the only way that we're going to beat this is that we have to follow the guidelines according to the CDC. Now these men and women, these great doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers are working very hard. And I mean, they're working very hard to treat people. They're working very hard to come up with a vaccine. And it's not just here in America; it's all over the world. And we just have to do our part by going by their guidelines. All right, now the count to 10,000 has gotten even closer today, folks. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. I have not gotten to 10,000 yet. But I have an announcement regarding that, and also the Summer of Superheroes Comic Hero T vote. I'm going to make that announcement at the end of the show, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on last week's episode, I asked which DC character could control all 7 deadly sins. Now, I gave 3 hints on last week's episode and on social media. The first hint was, this character has been a Teen Titan off and on since making their debut 40 years ago. Second hint was that this character is the offspring of the demon Trigon. And then the third hint, and this is the dead giveaway, this character has been a regular on both the Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go anime series. Well, the correct answer is Raven. And 11 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their name's been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Severin Thomas from Farmerville, Louisiana. So congratulations, Severin. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Marvel question. What is the name of the Skrull who possesses the powers of all 4 members of the Fantastic Four? Everyone who answers correctly been entered in the drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now Michael England from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features Marvel's answer to Batman going up against one of the deadliest villains in Iron Man's Rogue Gallery. Representing Marvel, we have Moon Knight. And also representing Marvel, we have the Mandarin. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Moon Knight versus the Mandarin. Moon Knight is an expert detective who possesses proficiency in martial arts and armed combat and utilization of high-tech equipment. The Mandarin is a superb athlete, superhumanly skilled martial artist, brilliant and brutal tactician, and gifted strategist who possesses genius-level intellect and 10 rings that grant various powers. Who will win? Because of their prowess in martial arts, this fight will mostly be in this department. Despite the Mandarin having the slight upper hand, Moon Knight would still be able to read his opponent's every move. However, Moon Knight wouldn't be able to generate any offense because of this. The Mandarin, becoming frustrated, decides to play dirty. He uses the magical ring Nightbringer in order to blind Moon Knight. This proves to be a big mistake. The Mandarin begins to swing and kick at Moon Knight, only to kick at nothing. The magic soon wears off, and the Mandarin suddenly notices that the 10 rings are gone from his fingers and thumbs. Moon Knight has them and throws them into the river. Becoming blinded with rage, the Mandarin attempts to go after them, but is met with a vicious heart punch by Moon Knight. You see, Moon Knight revels in the dark. While the spell is active, he secretly stole the rings from the Mandarin. The moral of the story is that you can't fight darkness with darkness. Moon Knight wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Alright, thank you Michael England for that fight. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there are two things we're going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking. The first one is some very unfortunate news that I was very saddened by. Ruby Rose, the lead actress on the TV show Batwoman on the CW, has quit her job as the lead character. Now, she didn't exactly say why she stepped away from her role, and none of the producers or anyone within Warner Brothers are saying why either. But in every episode that from the first season that's been on, she has done absolutely nothing but deliver, and also with her role in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I mean, it's just sad. I mean, she delivered from start to finish, and I don't know. I mean, there just are no words. But all I have to say is, Ruby, thank you. Thank you so much for your role as Batwoman. And much success for you for whatever you may do later on. And we love you. Alright, now the second thing is that this is some news that we knew was going to come eventually. It was just a matter of when. Now, for the last year, maybe a little longer than that, it has been rumored that there has been a Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. And it's finally come to fruition. As a matter of fact, Zack Snyder has already gotten a hold of the cast: Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa, and Ezra Miller. And he's talked to them and say, hey, let's do this. And if there's anyone who's more excited about it than anyone, is Jason Momoa. And he even said that the Zack Snyder cut's going to be even better than what came out in theaters. And let's hope so. Now when is this going to happen? It's going to happen next year on HBO Max. Now, HBO Max is the live streaming service from HBO that premieres this week. And there's a lot of great movies, a lot of great TV shows that are going to be on HBO Max. So, if you're looking forward to subscribing to it, you go ahead and do it. I'll do the same. And honestly, 2021 can't get here any sooner. Now, y'all probably wondering why is this happening? Well, for those of y'all who don't know, while Zack Snyder was directing the film, his daughter died, and he stepped away from doing the movie and gave the directing duties over to Joss Whedon, who finished up. When you lose a family member, there just are no words. I mean, it's just devastating. But I can't imagine what it's like, losing a daughter or a child. And Zach, we love you, and we thank you for we thank you. You really didn't have to do this, but we glad you are, and we can't wait to see it. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Event Leviathan number 4. Event Leviathan number 5. Event Leviathan number 6. And then next up are some trade paperbacks that I bought. Now, these are all issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the current series for IDW. This one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 1, Change is Constant. Now, this reprints issues 1 through 4. Then I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 2, Enemies Old, Enemies New. This reprints issues 5 through 8. And then, finally, I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 12, Vengeance. This reprints issues number 45 and through 47. And then the 2015 Free Comic Book Day one-shot. All right, that's 15, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 9,996. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. What is the name of the Skrull who possesses the powers of all 4 members of the Fantastic Four? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Severin Thomas from Farmerville, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this week's episode. All right, now here's the announcement that I promised y'all. Now, I'm only 4 away from 10,000 comics, but I didn't want to wait till next week to get to that milestone. Of course, next week is the beginning of the Summer of Superhero series. At first, I wanted to do a mystery pop-up segment on this episode. I actually have some comics that are on the way as we speak. And I was just going to film and then wait for those books to come in. But then I thought, no, I need to go ahead and get this up immediately. So, oh, by the way, it's a trade paperback that's coming in. Just saying. Now, but then I thought, how about I do this? Instead, I've decided I'm going to do a Comic Hero Show Extra this Saturday. And so after you're done watching this, if it's Saturday or if it's Sunday and you're watching this episode, go ahead and watch the Comic Hero Show Extra right after this. Besides, even when it's a regular episode, and even if it's a regular episode or a Comic Hero Show Extra, it all connects. And on there, not only am I going to get to the milestone, I'm also going to announce the results of the Summer of Superheroes 2 CHT vote. Now, I want to thank everyone who's voted so far. It's still not over, and I'm going to extend the deadline to this coming Saturday morning at 7. And at first I was going to make it double elimination, but with 11 teas, there's just no way in the world I'd be able to do that. So it's single elimination. The teas with the most votes will be the teas that I wear during Summer of Superheroes this summer. So, yeah. So, Comic Hero Show Extra this weekend, getting to the milestone, and then also going to announce the results of the vote. Also, on the Comic Hero Show Extra, now I'm going to do the same thing that I did when I got to the 300th episode. I made the shirt for the 10th for the milestone. It's currently in a garment bag. I'm going to take a picture of the shirt inside a garment bag. I'm going to post it on social media and right here on YouTube. Now, on social media, your job is to like or love it. And on YouTube, your job is to comment. And everyone who does either one of these will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on the Comic Hero Show Extra, just like the 10,000 comics Comic Hero tee. And I'm not going to draw, it's not going to be not 5, not 6, Not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 names. So go ahead and do that. Really excited about getting to the milestone. Really excited about doing a Comic Hero Show Extra. And I'm also very excited about doing the Summer of Superheroes. Now, as I've said before, the Summer of Superheroes is going to take on a new meaning this year. You know, with this whole COVID-19 outbreak, all the healthcare workers have been nothing but amazing. And I want to do something, you know, to salute them. So if you're a doctor, nurse, nurse's assistant, first responder, this Summer of Superheroes is for you. Alright, I'm Victor Nolly on a Comic Hero. I'll see you this Saturday for a Comic Hero Show Extra when I finally get to 10,000 comics. And I'll see you next week for episode 313, the beginning of the Summer of Superheroes 2. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!
You